When you're in the process of manifesting what you want into existence, the universe is going to challenge you. It's almost like the universe is going to throw challenges at you and test you to see how worthy are you really of that manifestation. Are you really worthy of that manifestation? Are you going to allow external reality to dictate your reality and to stop you from manifesting what you want? Or are you going to actually take back your internal power and manifest what you want no matter what external reality brings to you in your life? In this video, I'm going to be sharing with you how to ignore external reality when manifesting using the law of attraction. And you're going to understand exactly why external blocks are not actually external blocks, but they're actually internal resistances to the present moment, blocking you from manifesting what you want into existence. So if you're new to this channel, what I want you to do is to hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell, because I do post a new video every single day. Also, if you want to work with me one-on-one personally, hit the link that's in the description box of this video to apply for a free consultation. So you got to realize it's not actually the situation that's blocking you from manifesting what you want. It has nothing to do with the situation. And it's very easy to fall into victim, and we can convince ourselves why it's the situation, but I'm here to tell you it has nothing to do with the situation. Part of this video is going to teach you how to take responsibility for the situation that you're in. Not to say that you caused the situation, but just to take responsibility, which is your ability to respond. You have the power to create your reality regardless of what's happening in the external world. And the first thing you have to understand is that it's not the situation, it's actually your mind creating internal resistance to the situation. And that resistance that the mind is creating is actually keeping you stuck in that reality, because what you resist actually persists. It really doesn't have anything to do with the external reality. It has more to do with the internal resistance to what's happening, to the challenge, to the adversity, to the situation. And then that internal resistance actually keeps that situation alive. And it's almost like you're adding gasoline to the fire. Rather than pouring water onto the fire and putting out the fire and then moving on with your life, it's almost like it's like, why is this fire happening? And then you're taking gasoline and then you're adding more gasoline to the fire. That's what you're doing with the external situation when you're trying to manifest something and you're resisting. If you're resisting an external situation and you're thinking, this situation that's happening right now is actually blocking me from manifesting what I want. If that's the mindset that you have, if that's the resistances that you have in that moment, if you have those resistances, that is the block. The block is not the situation. The block is the internal resistance. The second thing I want to share with you is that if you think you're a victim, then you are. If you think that you're a victim, then you're going to manifest the reality of what a victim believes. Because you can choose to be a victim, and it doesn't seem like a choice when you're in the victim mentality. When you're in the victim mentality, you truly believe that everything is happening to you, the world is working against you, things aren't happening in your favor. Why is this happening to me? I have no control over this. There's no sense of empowerment whatsoever. It's literally not the situation, it's your mindset. It's the mindset of the person. And it's so hard to admit that and to see that it could be the mindset, because all these projections onto reality seem like it's reality, but it's not always reality. It's the response that we have to reality. It's our subconscious programming telling us why this reality should still be the way that it is, when the reason that reality is even there maybe wasn't because of what you did consciously, but it's there. And now in that moment, when that external reality happens, I'm not saying to take responsibility in the sense that you caused that situation. I'm saying that when that situation happens, we have a choice whether we fall into victim or we take responsibility and we take our power back. Because you can take your power back. You don't have to be a victim. And if you think that you're a victim, then you're going to manifest that reality into existence. If you think that external reality is a block to your manifestation, well, then it is for you. Because for other people on the planet, that same challenge was not a block for them. They were able to overcome that challenge. There's so many things that happened in my life where it's not the challenge, it's the mind creating resistance. I've dealt with certain health issues, I've dealt with business issues, I've dealt with friendship issues, I've dealt with family issues. And you have to understand, no matter how bad the situation seems, what I've learned in my life is that it has nothing to do with the situation. It's the mind creating resistance. It's the mind playing victim. It's the mind believing that the situation is working against you. And maybe it is because that's the belief that we have in that moment. But if you choose to redirect your focus to a different perspective, to the perspective that you can reframe this situation as an opportunity to grow. You can reframe the situation as this challenge, this adversity as actually allowing me to grow and to become my greatest version. It's not happening to me, it's happening for me. And this external reality that's happening to me is not a block to my manifestation, but I choose to see that my internal resistance is actually creating the block. You can't just believe me. You have to actually be conscious of your thoughts, be conscious of your emotions, and see and be aware of the fact that the resistance is perpetuating that reality. That's what the resistance does. The resistance actually perpetuates that reality, and it keeps that reality stuck. It keeps that reality playing on a loop until finally one day, the person that's experiencing that reality has enough courage to see the resistances that he or she is actually creating. It's not the situation, it's the mind. It's the resistance to the situation. If you release the resistance and you accept that situation fully, now what you'll have is you'll have an energetic foundation. You'll have an energy of non-resistance to get out of that situation. You cannot create change without acceptance and a release of resistance first. If you try to escape your situation from a space of resistance and neediness, you're not going to get anywhere. And if you do, you're still going to hold that resistance in your body, and you're going to manifest something else that's also in alignment with that resistance. If you somehow manage to get out of your external reality, but you still haven't dealt with the internal resistances, you're going to see a reflection of those internal resistances no matter where you go. No matter where you go in your life. So if you're resisting the fact that you're really bad at making money and you somehow win the lottery, if you still have that resistance, you're going to lose that money somehow. If you hold resentment towards certain family members and you run away from that situation and you're still holding that resistance, you're going to find some other situation in your life that makes you resentful and angry towards another person. Because we have certain resistances and traumas that keep us stuck in life, that keep us from moving forward, that keep us from stepping into the reality that we want. And it keeps us also in a loop of self-sabotage and self-deception. We're deceiving ourselves. We think it's the external blocks, but it's not. It's actually the person playing victim, believing that it is the situation when in fact, it's not the situation. It is the internal resistance to it. You have to understand that you don't allow external reality to dictate whether your manifestation is coming. Let's say you're trying to manifest something into existence, maybe a business, maybe a relationship, maybe a new house, maybe more money. Maybe something's going on with your health and you want to, eat healthier to manifest some kind of a result in your health. You have to understand that the moment you fall into victim, that is the block. If you think external reality is a block to your manifestation, then it is. And this is the hardest thing to accept, because when you're in the victim mentality, you truly believe that the world is working against you. You truly think that the external reality is the issue, and the mind will construct thousands of stories to convince itself and deceive itself and think that it is the situation, when in fact it's nothing more than a story based on the subconscious programming of the past. It's a response to the situation. The response, the unconscious automatic response, is keeping that person stuck. Again, I'm not saying that every single person caused these situations. I'm saying that the moment that you become conscious of your true nature and your subconscious mind, you now have the ability to make a choice. A choice of, do you want to play the victim, or do you want to make yourself empowered? Do you want to step into your true power and see that you have the ability to create what you want into this existence? And all you have to do is realize that you do not have to allow external reality to block your life. Take responsibility. Think about it like this. If you're trying to manifest money and then something happens in your business, which it probably will, because you got to realize life is in a continual state of change. Things are always changing. Your emotions are changing, your thoughts are changing, your body is changing. The body is going to grow older and change. The business that we once had may start to change over time. Some days we're going to lose money. Some days we're going to make more money. Some days we're not going to have any money at all. Some days we're going to be totally rich. This is the play of life. And life will sometimes take away certain things and bring certain things, because that's the play of life. The play of life is that nothing is stationary. Everything's changing. But there's one thing that doesn't change, which is your true nature as the one that can perceive that change. And you have to understand that when you become conscious of that part of who you really are, that is going to make you release internal resistance to the external situation and allow you to be more empowered. You have to understand that when that situation happens, or maybe you lose money, maybe the business isn't working out, and then you start to fall into victim, you lose the connectedness to who you are. You lose the groundedness to the present moment that you always have. And then you start to believe that you're a victim. You start to think that because that situation is happening in the external world, that external situation is blocking you from your manifestation. When you start to have those thoughts, when you fall into that victim mentality, when you lose the connection to who you are, that's the block. The block never had anything to do with the situation. The block had nothing to do with what was going on in your life. It doesn't matter where you were born. It doesn't matter what house you live in. It doesn't matter how much money you have. It doesn't matter how many friends you have right now. None of it matters. The key is to take responsibility. What is responsibility? Responsibility is your ability to respond. Because the situation's there anyway, but are you going to play victim? Or are you going to empower yourself? Are you going to make the choice to not play victim anymore? And the key word there that I'm using is to play victim, because it's just a play of the mind. It's a game. The mind is playing a game, and it's trying to play a game on you. And I'm inviting you to the idea that you do not have to play the game of victim. And you can fall out of that illusion, you can fall out of that dream and realize that your mind is constructing a story, convincing you why your manifestation is not coming, when it's nothing more than a universal test, seeing how worthy is this person really of their manifestations. Because if you have that external block, the external block, and then you choose to see, you know what? This situation is happening right now, but this is happening for a reason. This is not a block to my reality. I'm going to use this as this challenge and this adversity as another reason to step deeper into the present moment and step deeper into my power, and to realize that I can take responsibility. The people that do that are the people that manifest their dreams into existence. The people that resist that situation and believe that the situation is the block to their money, or a block to the love, or a block to the relationships. Maybe you keep trying to find the relationship and you keep meeting certain people that aren't the people that you want to meet. And then you start to create a story in your mind around, oh, everybody that I meet is not the person that I need to meet. When you create that story, now you're stuck in the loop. because you saw external reality, you constructed the story, and then now that story manifests your reality. But external reality was just external reality, and then that story that you created is what actually then puts you into that loop, that feedback loop of then manifesting that starts like, oh, people, every single person that I meet is, not relationship material because of the past experiences that you've had. And now because you have that story, you're going to keep manifesting more people that have to do with that story. But what if I told you that external reality had nothing to do with that story? And the moment that you constructed that story is what actually created the continuation of those people that you met in the past. But the thing is that if you realize that the story has nothing to do with the external reality, and that the construction that the mind creates is just a construct, what can happen is that you'll start to empower yourself and realize that your external reality situations have nothing to do with blocking your manifestations. The only block is internal. So I invite you, after watching this video, to take responsibility for how you respond to situations. If you think that a certain situation is happening in your life where you believe that situation is a block, ask yourself this question: is it the situation or is it my internal resistance? Ask yourself that question. Because that question will bring to awareness the fact that we have internal resistances that block us from manifesting what we want. We have internal resistances. We have a resistance to the present moment. We have a construct that the mind creates. And these constructs, these stories, these resistances are what block the manifestation. And the moment that you become conscious of that is the moment that you become one step closer to releasing that resistance, because in the awareness is the letting go. Remember, awareness is letting go. So you just become aware of the fact that you're creating resistance, you're already one step closer to manifesting that thing into your reality, because now you've separated the external world from your internal resistance, and now you're one step closer to manifesting. So my invitation to you is to be open to the idea that your external reality is not the block. The block is your internal resistances. And when you release the internal resistance, now you're going to be in alignment with a state of non-resistance, where you can be in alignment and be much closer to the manifestation than you ever thought that you could be. So that's all I have for this video. Once again, if you want to work with me personally one-on-one, hit the link that's in the description box of this video to apply for a free consultation. As always, have yourself a great day, and I'll see you in the next video.